Hey, my name is Dr. Lauren. I am a chiropractor in the Houston area, and part of what I do is teach about essential oils. So just a quick background on my story, and then we're gonna get into what essential oils are, just sort of an introduction into how you can use them, ways to use them, and really what makes an essential oil what it is, and how they can be therapeutic. So about 3 years ago, I didn't even know what essential oils were. I thought they were kind of crazy. I really love my research, and I really like to know exactly what's going on. So when I was first introduced into essential oils, I didn't understand. I wasn't very open-minded. It just wasn't the right time. So it took me quite some time to be open-minded enough and start trying essential oils. And the reason that I finally tried was because my husband wasn't sleeping at the time, and we'd gone through everything naturopathic to try and get him to sleep, and it was really affecting our daily life. So essential oils were finally the thing that helped him sleep, and there really was just a great enough need for me to be open-minded about it. And ever since then, it's been a really humbling experience to use them on patients, on family members, anywhere from infants to my 90-year-old grandmother, and really see some improvements, particularly when I'm not always present, when I have family that's far away or friends that are far away that are suffering. And even with patients and family members, not all of them are my patients. And unless you come in my door and let me actually get my hands on you to heal you, the healing probably stops there. So the reason essential oils have been so life-changing for me as a doctor and as a healer is that I'm able to help more people with more options. And it doesn't just stop in my office. It doesn't just stop with their back pain or their neck pain or teaching them this exercise. It actually gets to be taken at home and can turn into a bit more of a lifestyle and really start to affect their family. And I think the first time I realized the significance of that was when I was visiting my family who don't live in the same place I do. And my nephew had a stomach ache, and he knew that if he came over and he lifted up his shirt and showed me his tummy, that I would put something on his belly to help him. And he was maybe 3, didn't understand what was going on. He just knew that I would put something on his tummy and it would help him. And that was such a big game changer for me. And I started to watch my nieces and my nephews and watch how they use essential oils during nap time or run to get mommy's oils if they had a bug bite. And it was a really cool realization that through teaching more about naturopathic things, you bring awareness to not just adults, but also children about their health and wellness, and they can start to learn about their body and how to take care of their body in a way that is safe and that is effective, and that they seem excited to want to learn how to do that and to use these really great smelling oils for more than just smells. So that's a little bit of a background on my story. I teach essential oils all over the country. It's what I spend a great part of my day doing, and it's truly what I'm really passionate about because of the ripple effect of teaching people healthcare at home without needing people like me all the time. So, okay, essential oils, what are they? Basically, we are taking the essential oil that is in a plant, which is similar to dew, okay? So there are thousands of plant species, but not every plant species has essential oils in them. So it's kind of like dew on grass when it's cold in the morning, or when you've got, the dew that rests on top of those blades of grass. Those essential oils are sitting in different parts of plants. So sometimes it's the bark, like in cinnamon. Sometimes it's in a root, like vetiver, and sometimes it's in the flower petals, like rose or jasmine, or in the rind of a citrus oil, like lemon or orange. And so it's sort of this teeny tiny little pocket that's very microscopic of the plant's own immune system, kind of like a plant's chemistry, right? A plant can't get up and walk. If there's an invader, it has to learn how to defend itself, kind of the concept of Darwinism, and learn how to fight off bacteria or viruses or pollutants or weather or whatever it is. But it's basically a plant's immune system. And then those plants are carefully grown and gathered in various parts of the country. And then you need to extract it very carefully in a way that is not going to harm the chemical profile of that plant species. So for example, if you're cooking and you overcook a steak or a baked potato or vegetables, it really does change the consistency of those protein molecules of what's going on in that food. It's very similar to essential oils. They need to be grown under the correct conditions, and they need to be extracted carefully so that we don't change the chemistry of that essential oil And then that essential oil needs to be tested numerous times, and I mean thoroughly, because if we're really talking about the potential for essential oils to be used medicinally and therapeutically in a healing way, we need to make sure we know exactly what is in that essential oil so that it is going to affect our body the way that we think it will and that it should. So when it comes to essential oil chemistry, you need to be very, very particular, and this is where organic chemistry comes in. So as a consumer, first of all, people don't really like organic chemistry. I do. I love it. I think it's awesome because it either makes something real or it makes it false. You can't lie about organic chemistry. Okay, chemistry is what it is. But from a consumer standpoint, it's very hard to know when you're looking at essential oils or looking at brands and companies. It all sounds good. It sounds organic. It sounds pure. It sounds, 100% or whatever it is. But unfortunately, those words, even like organic, don't really mean that much in this country just because of the way that things are regulated. And that's not a bad thing because it does make essential oils easier to obtain. However, it is a bad thing when it comes to the integrity of a company and how much they really do devote to growing essential oils correctly, harvesting them correctly so that we are not polluting, or we're gonna call it adulterating the essential oil chemistry, and then making sure that we're testing it so it is absolutely safe to put on an infant child or your 90-year-old grandmother, and even sometimes use these essential oils internally. So the brand that I particularly fell in love with and trust 100% with my medical license and with my family, my friends, my patients is doTERRA. They have a phenomenal scientific staff with research and development and work with many doctors that are the highest in their field, whether it's aromatic science or essential oil chemistry or organic chemistry or pharmaceutical chemistry or anything you can think of, a doctor's staff, even medical doctors, chiropractors, things like that. They have a wonderful staff that does all the research and development, and they have very, very strict guidelines. And if those essential oils, even though we might grow them, if they don't fit within the exact specific guidelines of where the chemistry needs to be, then they don't get put on the shelf and they won't get sold. So that is important to note. If when you are getting your essential oils, as much as I love Amazon more than any other person, okay, I wouldn't ever buy things that are not going directly through a company. Okay, so you want to have quality control. You want to make sure that those essential oils are not being tampered with. It's relatively easy to pop a cap off of an essential oil, dump half of it out, and put in a coconut oil or a carrier oil or water or something that will change the chemistry of that essential oil and therefore make it not extremely effective and potentially unsafe. And you also want to know the brand that you are going with does the utmost in research and in testing to make sure that it is safe. So I particularly choose doTERRA. They're the largest essential oil brand in the world, and they do have the largest essential oil-based users in the world, as well as scientific staff and things like that. So, so that is what's important about essential oil chemistry. Now, what should essential oils do? There are quite a few things that they should do. So the way I like to describe essential oils is they should set the environment, whether that is internal in our bodies or external in the air. So if we're going to diffuse essential oils, maybe we want to set the environment for focus. We've got kids that are studying and they need to focus, so we're going to diffuse peppermint or rosemary. Or maybe we need to sell a house and it's a stinky house and it smells like cat urine. So we want to diffuse something that smells like home, where people would want to buy it. So we might diffuse cinnamon or wild orange. Or maybe it's sleep time and we need to diffuse something that's relaxing to shut your brain off. So you might diffuse lavender. Okay, or even immunity. We need to diffuse something that is going to help kill the germs in the air, the viruses, bacteria, seasonal threats, maybe the pollen, things like that. So we might diffuse essential oils for that. Now the same thing goes internally. If I'm going to put essential oils on my body, okay, essential oils are going to get into your bloodstream in about 2 minutes, and they're going to go throughout your whole body. And they even are going to work in your brain sometimes. Some of them, like frankincense and sandalwood and vetiver, some of the essential oils can get into your brain, which is great when it comes to healing potential. We also have smell receptors on every single organ in our body, which is cool. Who knew that your liver could smell? And the way that essential oil chemistry works as well, particularly with emotional healing and hormone release in the brain, is you've got right by your olfactory nerve sits your limbic system, which is basically your emotional control center. You've probably heard of your amygdala, which has to deal with anger and fear and more of negative emotions. But your limbic system is going to control hormone release as well, based on emotions. So not only is smell our first trigger for memory, Okay, but we also have receptor sites. So when you smell something, it's not that it just smells good. There's actually a chemical exchange that's going on, and there's these tiny little molecules that are gonna go in through your nose and in through your olfactory nerve into your brain. And they're gonna fit together like puzzle pieces with different parts of your brain, kind of like a lock and key system. Okay, so based on, first of all, if we have the right chemistry, okay, and if it's actually going to be effective and actually fit in those lock and key parts, it's going to then kind of mesh with different parts of receptors in your brain and cells, and therefore have a cascade of physiologic or response systems in your body that include hormone release based on perhaps you really like the smell, and so we're going to increase serotonin or oxytocin or dopamine, or it's going to be very calming to the nervous system, or it might even work with other receptors such as pain, or then release things in your body to help with inflammation, or to help with the release of hormones for sleep. Okay, so essential oils it's all one big chemistry. Okay, when it gets to your brain, it becomes a little more confusing when it gets topically, like if you're applying an essential oil for a bug bite to help with swelling or to help with pain or redness. Those things you can see, that's a little bit easier to kind of understand what's going on. And we also might apply things topically where it's going to open up blood vessels, something like peppermint, which is menthol, which is the minty, the hot, cold kind of sensation that actually expands and opens your blood vessels. So then it helps with delivering oxygen and digestive support and respiratory support. So we'll get into all that kind of stuff. But basically, essential oils are one big game of chemistry. Okay, they're going to go in and out of cells very easily because they're made of fat. They're made of fatty acids, which is what your cell walls are made of. So they can go in and out and float and bind with those areas that they need to, turn on a cascade of reactions, turn off a cascade of reactions, just to help with your body's natural physiologic responses. Okay, so setting the environment. We also should have a lot of options with essential oils. So some people like to use essential oils for absolutely everything. Some people just want their house to smell good, and that's fine. Or they want to put lavender on their child before bed. That's great. Essential oils can meet you wherever you are on your lifestyle and what makes sense, but they should be convenient, okay? And they should also start to replace some things in your life. So that way you are saving money and not just spending more money. So whether it is cough drops, which is something that I use all the time to help with immunity, whether it is an adjunct to medication, maybe you don't want to take aspirin all the time for pain, and so you'd rather use something that's topical for pain relieving and inflammation. That might be something like that blue bottle back there that's called Deep Blue. Or maybe again for emotional well-being, to help with stress management or feelings of being anxious, or just mood control to generally feel a little bit better. So essential oils should save you money if you know how to use them well, and start to replace some other things in your household and a normal thing. And just definitely, again, the biggest thing is options. So with my patients, I want them to know what their options are. They can choose whatever is best for them. But if you knew that you had an alternative to taking Tylenol for pain or taking other things for immunity, and you wanted a more natural option, then essential oils would be the other thing that you can use for those things. And then again, we kind of talked about lifestyle with my nieces and nephews about how you can start to really train some cool habits in children and start to teach them how to be self-aware about what's going on with their body. Maybe it's with focus and being overwhelmed at school, or emotional well-being, even some serious things like bullying, or how to just deal with general disappointment in life through the teenage years. Those are hard concepts to learn, even for adults. We could all use a little more emotional well-being, and especially when it's going to be something that's chemically good for our body, because it's going to release good things and help our body do what it needs to do naturally and best. These are all just really great ways to learn how to handle life a little bit better, and also how to use things medicinally as well. And then the biggest thing, again, which we already covered, was safety. So just please be careful how you get your essential oils, where you get your essential oils. When it comes to doTERRA specifically, you need to go through someone who does sell essential oils and is an advocate for doTERRA, such as myself. Or you can go directly through the company just by calling them, but it does need to go in a direct exchange from the company. Please don't buy on Amazon. Don't buy from the grocery store, I'm sorry. But just safety is really the biggest thing. So I don't care where you get your essential oils, just so that they are safe and pure. And again, I would recommend doTERRA for those reasons. So in the next few videos, we are going to talk more about general therapeutic essential oils when it comes to replacing your medicine cabinet and how to make that over in a natural way. We'll talk about the 3 different ways to use essential oils, which we have a little bit, but that would be topically, on your skin, on your body, aromatically, which is by putting it in a diffuser and it goes throughout the air, and then also internally for those of you that would like to use essential oils internally. Like I've got some lemon in my water, and so I will drink that throughout the day. So I will send some videos, those will be coming next, all about the different ways to use essential oils. Please contact me if you have any questions. springboardchiropractic.com or springboardchiropractic@gmail.com. Again, my name is Dr. Lauren. Have a great day.